I wanted to check out this video that yesterday I said we were going to check out. Poseidon Entertainment put out a video about, like, the brand fatigue that the actual, like, Disney parks are feeling, you know? How's it going, Flame Monkey? Welcome to the chat, my dude. Welcome. Yeah, it's super interesting right now with Disney. Like, it's definitely, like, in the fact that I live, like, pretty close, it's really interesting to see how, like, just how less people are going there, I guess. Is the best way to explain it. Honestly, it's always been super overpriced at those parks. Hopefully I can give some kind of tidbit. I've been there quite a few times, living near around the area here. So we'll see. Let's just watch the video. Let's see what's going on. I can't say much on it, but Disney's been going through the ringer lately. Not only with their movies, but just in general. Even with like the city of Anaheim, they were starting to get into some kerfuffles. Let's say. I wonder if he's gonna bring all that up. Let's see. Play. That's dangerous music there. Don't get me freaking flagged, dude.
I have wondered to myself if Disney's movie IP mandate for its parks will ever end up backfiring on them. Things have reached a point where every new attraction is essentially some half-baked experience with an IP slapped onto it, and I then have to wonder, is this actually working? Do people see that the Guardians of
Can I just say, am I the only one who thinks that these animatronics are creepy?
With an IP slapped onto it, and I then have to wonder, is...
Like, don't get me wrong, it's amazing technology. It's freaking awesome, right? But the fact that you're like, it just doesn't look right. I don't know how else to explain it. It looks like a real person, potentially, but like, the head don't look right, you know?
Is this actually working?
It looks like something trying to mimic a human.
That the Guardians
it's uncanny,
of the have a roller
but a different kind.
And think to themselves that this is an exciting idea. I think that when you add a major attraction to an already popular park, people are obviously going to see it as a reason to come back. The IP itself also has a large degree of marketability.
This looks awesome, though. I haven't been on this one. Where's this one in?
As a pre-established movie brand like Guardians of the Galaxy, it is pretty easy to advertise just through its familiarity. However, is this attraction popular because at its core, it's a fun roller coaster which is already popular with park goers, and word of mouth has generally been positive, or is it because of the marketability of the franchise slapped onto it? I would posit that it's popular because it's new, and the actual ride track layout is one of Disney's better coasters.
That looks awesome. That looks really sick, I'll be honest with you. I do like those, like, dark coasters. I'll be honest, if I had to pick, like, specifically on rides, I've always really been, like, a fan of, like, the more showy type of rides, you know? Like, I'm not saying this is, like, the greatest ride in the world or anything, but, like, Pinocchio, it's, like, those old rides, Pinocchio, Wonderland, Alice in Wonderland from, like, Disneyland over here in California. Like, I've always really had a soft spot for all those super showy rides, you know? So, like, the reason I liked Space Mountain's Star Wars version so much was that it was just genuinely cool to have, like, a dark ride with some kind of something, you know? It was like a roller coaster, but at the same time it had a bit of a show, you know, something. That's why I also like the Peter Pan one, because that one, like, makes you float over a little miniature island and stuff. You know, it gives it something, a little spice, a little variety.
Regardless of what theme you attach to it.
So I do like the look of this. This looks like a roller coaster, but with a lot of showmanship, you know? And that's what I want. That's the word. Showmanship. I want a bunch of showmanship.
Probably do really well.
I want an experience.
However, it's clear that while the IP strategy seemingly works in the short term, I have wondered if this is...
Like, can you really not hire some some actor to just do this? You really gotta bring this weird-looking animatronic to... You know what I mean? I don't know. There's no soul in it. It doesn't feel genuine.
Coming back.
There's a big difference when you get the energy of another human being trying to, like, hype you up for the show, and then you get an animatronic, you know?
And the reason I question this is because I think we're in the beginning phases of a shift in consumer behavior. It's no secret.
Look at the Mr. Potato Head at the, the Toy Story Park, Fenway Park, whatever that thing is. Like, there's a reason why that got so popular, the Mr. Potato. Because you have an actual voice actor, you know, talking behind the animatronic, sort of like the Megatron over there at Universal Studios. Freaking sick.
That established franchise films,
but it's because there's a human behind it, giving it the character, the attitude.
And when I look at brands like Pixar and Marvel, which audiences are becoming less interested in showing up for, I then have to ask if investments like Pixar Pier or Avengers Campus will end up backfiring on Disney as interest continues to wane. These were both creatively cheap additions that have not at all helped to improve the attendance for California Adventure. And while Disney has clearly indicated that they see their franchises as timeless, I completely disagree. Do audiences really care about something so underwhelming like Avengers Campus?
Ooh, I'm actually going to be going to California Adventure soon. I don't know how soon, but like in the near future.
When the franchise that elevates it has continued seeing so many
I got
narratively
invited.
unsatisfying projects. I can somewhat understand why people might be intrigued by the changing roster of character interactions based on recent films and shows, but when they're as bad as something like Secret Invasion, will people even continue to care?
Yeah, they ruined Nick Fury for me. I love Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury. He was the best Nick Fury. Paul Angel, how's it going, my dude? Welcome, welcome. But like in this latest one, I don't know what happened to
What
him.
I'm making and will continue to make throughout this
It all
video
started
is
with
that
the
Disney
cat-
uses its film
the
and
cat
television
taking his
IPs
eye.
as a crutch for often underwhelming
What is-
attraction and land design. And as Disney continues doubling down on sequels,
Ooh,
and
hold
will
on, I like
continue to
that.
make
That looked
throughout this
cool.
video recent films and shows,
I haven't been to that one. That one looked awesome with
but when they're
Mickey.
as bad as something like Secret Invasion, will people even continue to care? The point I'm making, and will continue
Look
to
at
make
this.
throughout this video,
looks
is
cool.
that Disney uses its film and television IPs as a crutch for often underwhelming attraction and land design. And as Disney continues doubling down on sequels and remakes, as theater audiences actually seem to be moving away from them, I think that many of these ludicrously expensive yet cheap-feeling additions to their parks will age extremely poorly. But wait, you might ask.
I'll be honest. It seems like, and not only with this, but even with like the whole Star Wars land. You know, they had Star Wars land, they had Avengers land. Like it really does seem like they freaking like they're trying to make it seem like they could just pop out a new attraction or new land every other franchise, or like it's just it's a no big deal, you know. And it's just kind of like, yeah, that's like, but what happens when people stop? Yeah, like this guy's right. Like, what happens when you stop caring? What happens when I just like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like the Avengers was cool, but now they're kind of all boring, and I don't watch the TV shows, you know. So at least for me, there's nothing there's nothing there for me to watch. I mean, at the park specifically. Like, there's no reason for me. I'm not gonna go to watch Nick Fury from Secret Invasion. I haven't watched the show, and I don't think I'm gonna. I'll be honest. Since like the Netflix series, the Daredevil and Luke Cage and all those, since they stopped, I just stopped caring about Marvel television altogether. Like, I'm not gonna, not gonna waste my time with it. You betrayed me once. I refuse. That's kind of like what the Justice League, what they did. Now that they're gonna reboot it, it's like, well, now you're gonna reboot it. I refuse to watch. I refuse to watch The Flash. Even though the Flashpoint series is definitely one of my favorite storylines of the whole Justice League, especially The Flash. Flash is one of my all-time favorite heroes. Well, today I posted a new video. Oh, that's awesome, my dude. Would you like us to check it out? What's it about? I don't mind reacting to it at the end of this. But yeah, my dude's like that. That's an interesting one.
Is Universal not doing the same thing?
And the reason I bring this up is like Star Wars Land specifically has not brought enough attractions to really lure people there. The only reason I want to go at all, even now or anytime soon, is because a friend of mine hasn't gone to the cantina inside of Star Wars, which is like the only real cool part about it. Because the rides, at least when I was there, it was only like one freaking ride. YouTube videos about your favorite sign from Little Big Town. All right, my dude, we'll check it out. Is it like a review or what?
With the exception of VillainCon, I would actually say no. There's a fundamental difference in how Universal incorporates IP into its parks and attractions, and that this is actually a fascinatingly complex topic when you compare and contrast
I do
the
want to
two.
go check this out at Universal,
So, in
though.
today's video, I'm going to discuss what I think is the changing movie industry, and how Disney is failing to adapt because of its obsession with brand and franchises, afraid to actually try anything new or interesting. As a result of extending this strategy to their parks and treating them like billboards for some nebulous brands known as Disney, rather than, well, actual theme parks, their new additions will end up damaging their parks' branding and accelerate how they age in the public eye, resulting.
Okay, I was about to say, this puppet is awesome of Coco, or whatever the frick the kid's name is, until I saw the friggin' dude's hand inside the back of the kid's head. Oh, that's disturbing.
Resulting in what I believe will have to be.
Alright, fine, I didn't need that freaking mental image in my head. Cool. I don't even mind if you check it out.
The
Well, let me know, my
inevitable
dude, if you want
rethinking
to.
of their
I
park
don't mind
strategy.
checking it out.
So, let's dive right in.
Dude, we just got through the intro. We just got through the intro. Ooh, I like that song. I like the music. There's a long pause. It's a bad time to shut my mouth, huh? I thought I was gonna like start the intro or something. I don't know. I wanted to give him a chance to speak, and now we're talking at the same time.
If you've been keeping up with the movie industry, then you've probably noticed that it's the middle of a massive shift right now.
Vin Diesel!
And that the big franchises that studios have relied on to make money are continuing to see diminishing audience interest and returns. I think that a general declining quality in
let's be completely, brutally honest. At what point is Fast and the Furious just gonna become Mad Max?
big franchises.
Because, I mean... You could convince me with this shot that this is out of a Mad Max movie.
In big franchise films is playing a part in the waning interest in these franchises, but I also think that the studios themselves have also worked as a catalyst to change consumer behavior, and therefore the kinds of movies that will be successful at the box office. For example, while I like Indiana Jones as a franchise, and I've heard that the Dial of Destiny is actually a fun time, I just can't really bring myself to actually go and watch it in theaters, at least at the time of writing the script. If I ask myself why, it's because it's a story that just didn't need to be told, and is instead seen as a safe bet.
I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not gonna go see it because of the simple fact that it has time travel. It has nothing to do with any other possible... I don't care about your opinion on the movie. I don't care about your opinion on the actress, on the actor, on Indy, on the story, on the legacy, on the I don't care about a single thing besides the fact that I think that Disney and all these other dudes, the Avengers and all them, have been messing with time travel too much, and it's boring, and it makes no sense, and it's just what's the point? I don't care anymore, because you're just gonna undo everything, like the Avengers did. So, man, I don't care anymore. Whatever.
But from Disney because of its brand
They've been relying on time travel and multiverses for too dang long, and it's way too easy of an out for them, because it's like, what hell? Oh, look at this terrible thing happened. Do you feel sad? Yeah, I got you. Well, we're gonna go back and save them. Now they're not gonna die, because you guys like this actor's face, and he's handsome. So bring him back.
Even if the film is competently put together by most accounts. It's a movie
I'm
that
still calling BS on
really
Gamora being back.
Theaters, but I think will do well on streaming, which I think gets to the core of the problem. There's a lot that can be said about the decline of the movie-going experience as prices continue to rise, but along with this,
dude, it's like 180 or 190 now, dude.
Streaming has offered an alternative for the
just to get into Disney,
who has no interest in spending the money for the theater experience that probably wasn't too appealing to them.
This is about how empty the parks are nowadays. Come on, Disney.
Anyways, when I think of films that have done really well relative,
I know it's an AMC. I'm just saying, this is about how empty it looks nowadays.
To their budgets this year, it's because they all felt like cultural moments that you had to see as soon as possible, because their ideas were interesting and new. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is obviously written around characters just as iconic as many of Disney's, and while I'm sure that such strong recognition...
Yes, but Disney actually, got super involved in the creation. They had their fingers in there. They were looking at them we're watching you. You don't do nothing. You don't do nothing that we don't look at, alright? We're watching you. Nintendo was super, careful about their IP. They care a lot about their Marios.
Played a role in its
59 subs, my dude, that's freaking awesome! Oh, 10 more. 10 more.
Success.
I want to see that. Post that on Twitter or X or whatever the frick they call it now.
I think that
10 more.
Showed up because they were curious to see how a massive video game franchise.
Everyone go sub. Fallen Angel needs 10 more subscribers now.
Would translate as an actual film, creating something that felt like an event. I also think of two movies I just saw, Barbie and Oppenheimer, both of which gained...
I'm pretty much just going to delete my channel once I get to 6,969 subs.
Traction not just through the Barbie...
Just to let y'all know.
But they actually felt like unique opportunities to experience something different in the cinema as cultural moments. While they're both helped by brand recognition.
Dude, it is so cool that, unrelated, but it's so cool that I actually, because of the Chernobyl TV show, I actually got super into that whole, into nuclear reactions and just, like, that, that sort of, like, general topic. So I actually went and found out a lot more about Oppenheimer and, like, started researching it and looking into it. So it's awesome, like, to see, like, that there's, like, a movie of it now, which I will see once once I can afford it. Dude,
with Barbie being, well, Barbie, and Oppenheimer being a Christopher Nolan.
it's either gonna be when it comes out on some streaming service or I don't know. Like, it's not even like I can't afford it. It's just like, who do I convince to go see Oppenheimer with me? All my friends are freaking well, my friend. Well, I mean, I can take Burrito and Chaos. I think I might be able to convince them, but they live far away, and all my close family relatives are like super like Fast and the Furious like type people. Michael Bay, Adam Sandler.
Nolan film.
They're not going to go see an
Oppenheimer
film, is all I'm saying. What's up, Oreo? You hear someone outside, my dude?
Blockbusters
Sorry,
in a
Doggo's
way
going
that
ham.
established films like Fast 10 or Indiana Jones just did not. Those felt like obligatory franchise entries that can't be missed for streaming. The issue, though, is that it's being revealed that streaming just isn't that profitable, and in many cases, most studios are apparently losing money by continuing to host these services. I can certainly understand why streaming would be perceived as the future of home entertainment, and I think that it was an inevitability. But when Bob Iger set out to launch Disney Plus with what he perceived as unshakable juggernauts of distinct movie brands, he also launched a streaming war where Paramount,
Isn't that just like the classic example of like someone being like, yeah, look at me. I own the top TV shows or movies or franchises or whatever. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, but like you didn't make them the top franchises and stories and stuff. So what, like, they were awesome up until they got in your hands. And then, you did the next ones. And subsequently made them terrible because you just don't know how to make one. If you knew how to make one, you wouldn't have had to purchase it. You get what I'm saying? If Disney knew how to make a good Star Wars movie, they wouldn't have had to purchase Lucasfilms. If they knew how to make a good Marvel movie or a good Marvel TV show or even a good Marvel comic, they wouldn't have had to buy Marvel comics. They would have just made their own version. But they can't do that. So, like, no duh. I feel like you just meant it was meant to be failed. It was not meant to be failed. It was set up. There we go. That's the word. It's set up for failure from the very beginning because you're just buying something that you have no clue how to make, create, or how it functions or works.
Warner Brothers and Universal wanted a piece of the pie too, resulting in way too many options for consumers. If Netflix and its two competitors, Hulu and Amazon Prime, were successful in turning people against cable because they provided a lot of content in one place for relatively cheap, then the studios launching their own services and pulling their content from these third-party platforms did the opposite.
My bad.
If you want access to everything, then you have to pay for multiple streaming services, which is impractical, meaning that people had to pick and choose the few that they actually want, creating a lot of competition between them. However, it has become clear that this isn't working, and with mergers such as H.E.R.
Just in this video alone, if each freaking subscription is like 15, let's be honest. I'm just look at me in the eyes when I tell you this. Let's be completely honest. A $15, $12, $13, $14, $15, $16, $17, and $11.99 subscription, as far as anyone in their right mind is concerned. Yeah, Oreo. Yeah, you let those neighborhood dogs know who's boss. Our neighborhood. Yeah. All right. Sorry. We gotta let them know who runs this place. It's our streets. All right. I was in the middle of something, Oreo. You freaking distracted me, Oreo. It's a $20 freaking subscription. It's a $20 subscription. I don't care if it's $11.99. It could be $10.99. If it goes over 10, as far as I'm concerned, it's a $20 subscription. So as far as I'm concerned, I've just seen like $60 worth of subscriptions in just this one freaking video.
HBO Max with
How am I meant to keep up with that?
Disney Plus with Hulu, it's becoming clear that this new type of market needs to sort itself out. However, it's also clear that streaming is not the endless cash cow that these studios anticipated, and that a return to traditional theatrical releases is still the way to go. Unfortunately, many consumers enjoy the convenience of streaming from their own homes because of such short theater windows, and are now skipping films in theaters unless they feel like must-see events or fresh and novel ideas. I think part of the reason for this is that the heavy focus on franchises, which also happen to be declining in quality, have resulted in oversaturating the movie landscape to the point of becoming tedious obligations. I think back to the many movies I've seen this year, whether it be Renfield,
Dracula!
a movie about a bear that YouTube wouldn't want me mentioning the title of, and Megan,
Booger Sugar Bear!
which all have unique premises that feel new and interesting. Granted, these were all films that could be categorized in the horror or thriller genres and were all released through Universal, but at a time when Disney and Warner Brothers are doubling down on franchises when consumers are feeling fatigued
I actually haven't seen Thor Love and Thunder, I'll be honest.
with the current slate, Universal is really positioning itself with its smaller budget films to see
I heard that he pretty much leaves the Guardians of the Galaxy immediately and goes off to do his own thing, and I kind of lost interest. I'll be completely honest with you.
decent box office returns.
Like, as soon as I heard he wasn't going to have anything, like, I genuinely thought that Thor Love and Thunder was going to be like, oh, snap, we're going to see Thor now being a part of the Guardians and, like, maybe expanding the universe a little bit more, kind of like what the comic books do, where, like, Spider-Man joins the Fantastic Four for a while. You know, something cool, a little unique, something, just to give it that old comic book feel or classic Marvel feel. But no, they just sort of said, nah, he immediately leaves. And it's like, all right, then, yeah, you know what, I don't want to watch it. and from the reviews, I heard that it's like, I'll see it if it's on Disney Plus someday and I'm bored, I'll watch it.
A lot of uncertainty with how consumer interests are changing at the box office, but if you look to different historical trends in Hollywood that are no longer relevant, such as movie star-driven films, or films sold on the prestige of certain directors, those eras have long passed.
Kitty!
So too do I think that studios' obsessions with brands and franchises is coming to an end, and I think that more creative, smaller budget novelty films may end up becoming the primary seller within the next few years. Obsessions with brands and franchises.
See, I feel like the biggest problem, for me at least, with, like, newer Disney is not even like that that you don't have good ideas. It's that they have a good idea and then they don't do anything with it. For example,
Is coming to
and
an
this is a very, very specific, example because it's the only one I have at the
end.
moment.
And I think that
But,
more
like,
creative.
I just saw these dudes flying around in a stadium. Obviously, they have the ability to levitate and
More
fly.
creative, smaller budget
So why are flying vehicles a thing? Like,
novelty films may end up becoming the primary seller within the next few years.
like why is that why are flying vehicles a thing? Sure, like for the other elements. Okay, why is that cloud man walking on the ground? Just fly to your destination. It's way faster. Way safer, too. You won't get run overs.
Studios, and
Like,
especially Disney,
you make me ask way more questions than you answer, and it's distracting to the movie.
counted on consumers to always love their favorite franchise.
Like, Zootopia, by example, showed you, like, how cool the differences was between, like, an ice cream shop for an elephant as compared to, like, say, a rabbit or a fox, a smaller creature that would just overall have a less, need to consume food, but they still keep the prices the same. It makes it feel like, dude, there's a freaking economy in this movie. Like, wait, it's a one-shot movie. You're never gonna make another movie again. Why are you putting so much effort into it? But that's what makes it so darn memorable. And like those little details, the kind of things that you want to go and see it a second time for. And I'm not even that huge of an animation fan or any of those like fancy critiques. But I don't know. It just makes the movie seem cooler to me. I notice things like that, especially now that I'm like starting to get back into me and Degenerate Weeb have gone back to our second rough draft of Anime Addict episode, whatever the heck it's gonna be, the red line one, and like I'm starting to realize just how lost that little bit there is, the world building, how lost world building has become. Like, and it's very obvious now.
But when you beat them over the head with it, especially by pumping out TV show after TV show to desperately
like
get
they come up
streaming
with
and be
one idea
profitable,
and that's it.
Just oversaturated the entertainment landscape in a way that is tiring and exhausting.
Like here, they had the idea of like, secret invasion. They all hate Nick because Nick Fury didn't finish his promise to the one person. It's like, but then they never do anything else beyond that. Like there was never any like gray area of like, but technically he let you live on Earth, and isn't that a planet? Or maybe Nick Fury like technically was just like, I'll find you on Earth, and then maybe the aliens were like, oh, what about, like, can't we just stay on Earth, like, instead? Why do we gotta go to a different planet? And Nick is like, we can't stay here. Are you crazy? Come on. And it's just like, well, there you go. That's a good reason to start a war against them. Like, so we're not good enough to share Earth with you, are we? Bam. Like, I don't know, something. Literally anything more. Like, your ideas have to be longer than one sentence. Nick Fury broke a promise to a scroll. And you got an entire season with just that.
If you design your streaming service around brands,
nothing
like
happens.
Plus has,
I watched the entire season.
The rise of streaming has also changed.
I lied to you earlier. I watched the entire season.
Consumer behavior at the.
That's not true. I watched somebody else react to it. All right, now like that. I've been found out.
Box office, and now those big franchises.
I refused to give them a watch, and I'm glad I did it.
Franchises are becoming less profitable to make.
I had more entertainment value from somebody else reacting to it and watching them suffer through it than I genuinely had. It's like Velma. You think I cared about Velma? I just watched Nux, like, lose his sanity to it. Nux Otaku and, goodness, I'm so sorry. Who else? Little Platoon? I watched Little Platoon suffer through it. Screw that, I'm not gonna freaking watch it.
I think that studios might either have to just write off streaming as an expensive loss and partner with others to achieve profitability, or they have to risk completely abandoning big franchises in favor of more unique and novelty films. We have yet to really see what kind of shift may be occurring, or if studios can adapt their franchises to this new behavior, but what they're doing right now is
Dude, Matt Smith can just hide in plain sight, I swear to you.
We have yet to really see what kind of shift...
Was that not Matt Smith, Damian Smith, is that the name of him? This guy? Who's this guy? Is that Damian? Damon Smith? Damn it. Damian? This guy can hide in plain sight. Look at this man! It took me like at least 4 seconds to be like, wait, is that,
shift may be occurring, or if studios can adapt their franchises to this new behavior, but what they're doing right now is clearly not working. And when you have a company like Disney, which has done nothing but flood its parks with Disney movie IP, the results could really backfire on them.
Ratatouille. Yeah, come on, Disney. Why has it? Why? How come Remy the Rat hasn't become your new icon? Huh? I don't see no Remy Land. I want to see a Remy and Mickey Mouse t-shirt.
If you're visiting Hollywood studios, one of the busiest
Remy the Rat and Mickey the Mouse. Where's that TV show? Put that on Disney
Still,
Plus.
Though, is this truly popular, or is the park just so ill-equipped to handle capacity that this is where people tend to gravitate? The park otherwise only contains...
I gotta admit, I love the fact that Ray's staff became the handle for her lightsaber. That was sick. I love that.
A handful of
I like that one. I like the design.
Land, Star Tours, Runaway Railway, the Tower of Terror, and Rock and Roller Coaster, among what is mostly just a lot of dated and uninteresting shows. For seeing such expensive investment over a 3-year period from 2017 through 2020, the park is still incredibly underbuilt, and its attraction lineup feels underwhelming. I think that put into the context of Disneyland, though, Galaxy's Edge does not fare nearly as well.
Ah, now we're at the home territory. Galaxy's Edge!
I think it's telling that I continue to hear Disneyland locals...
I went during the early days of Galaxy's Edge, and the only ride they had was the Millennium Falcon one. And that was it. There was really nothing much there besides $17 for 2 tacos. That was about all the experience I had of Galaxy's Edge. Whoops.
Refer to this as the quiet area of Disneyland, and when you stack it up against the many awesome attractions located in the park, I think it's no wonder that it's often forgotten.
Space Mountain. I like this one. This one's dope.
It's unpopular, as there's always a fair number of people back there.
Don't get me wrong. Galaxy's Edge was sick. I got to drink green and blue milk. I got to drink I got to drink Coca-Cola out of a photon grenade. It's freaking sick. They got little photon grenade bottles. It's awesome.
But I doubt that it's seeing the financial success that Disney has anticipated.
Oh, my little consumerist heart was just ready to explode. I loved it. Oh, so much capitalism in the air. Oh, I love it.
So, if that's the case...
My wallet hurts!
Well, I've said this many times, but I think that Disney's sequel trilogy just does not resonate with most audiences because those films are so narratively unsatisfying. As a consequence, Solo, which was a decent film, did poorly at the box office.
Yeah, I'll admit, I like Solo. I wish they did a little bit more, though. It felt like the movie was way too short, I'll be honest.
Despite being a Star Wars branded show, even something
I don't know if that's just because they tried to fit too much story into one movie and they just didn't do much with it, but
as excellent as Andor did pretty poorly on Disney+.
I don't get the romance
The
part of
only-
it that they had. Like I didn't care because I already knew he was gonna end up with Leia, you know?
The reason that I think people are turning out for other shows is because of previously recognizable characters, such as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And while I still really like The Mandalorian, I think that Grogu's marketability has allowed the show to last for much longer than I would have anticipated. The fact is that
Grogu should have stayed with Luke Skywalker. I think Grogu should have stayed with Luke, and they should have called it quits. He should not have been in the Book of Boba at all. No reason to be in the Book of Boba, like in any kind of way, shape, or form, at all. I don't even understand why he ended up going back with the Mandalorian for the new season. Grogu's story had a beginning, middle, and end. That should have been done. We should have been left wondering, oh, what happened to Grogu? And then hoping that maybe the Ahsoka TV show would have answered something. You know, maybe if you wanted to bring him there, you know? And then, maybe even oh, how come Luke didn't mention Grogu in the freaking movies? What a mystery. Things are happening. You know, I don't know.
the Star Wars brand has very much been damaged by Disney.
It just literally, and of course it has to do with the directors, right? I know J.J. Abrams, and it got passed on to whatever his name is in the second movie, and he didn't like J.J. Abrams' version of Star Wars, so he changed it, and then it changed again for the third. It really came across that they had no idea what they were doing at all. It was like they were writing the movie as they were filming it.
And as it continues to pump out more content, it in turn only continues to dilute that brand, and people forget about the original films that they liked so much in the first place. Was designing Galaxy's Edge to be based around Disney's trilogy before it was even over a smart idea? Absolutely not. And while Rise of the Resistance is a decent ride, I think that it has very much lost the hype narrative
I haven't been on this one. This one looks cool.
of being the best attraction ever designed, as those kinds of people have now moved on to saying the same exact thing about Guardians of the Galaxy and Epcot. They're both fun rides, but they just don't resonate with me and others in the same way that many of Disney's classics like Pirates or the Haunted Mansion still do.
Yeah, like the Haunted Mansion is a ride before you get on the ride, bro.
While the Star Wars brand has
The freaking elevator is a part of the attraction. It's freaking sick.
unfortunately been damaged and disinterest continues to rise, I have to wonder then, how does something like Galaxy's Edge age? To me, it's already stale, and now that the newness has worn off, I think that a lot of other people see it as a hollow and unsatisfying experience, unless you're going specifically to ride Rise of the Resistance or buy a lightsaber. It lacks the detail of lands like Pandora, it lacks the fascinating intrigue of something like the Wizarding World.
Haven't been there either. Also a location I would love to go check out.
At its core, Galaxy's Edge is a non-distinct land, designed
It
as
is
a brand vessel
comparatively, it is a pretty small, area.
meant to sell merchandise, and reinforce Disney's iteration of Star Wars, which audiences have now made clear
Like this area right here makes it seem way larger than what it actually is. Like if this was an actual I don't know, designed to be an actual bazaar and have little shops with little knickknacks and little specialties and whatnot, I think they could have made it really cool or something unique even, But it's not. It's like 2 or 3 merchant shops and then a bunch of walls. It's not you're literally looking at the entire area right here. There's
that
not
they're
much to it.
creatively disinterested in.
It looks awesome.
I think that Galaxy's Edge will continue to remain
Just-
fairly well traveled for the next few years at least.
It was
But
pretty
what
empty
happens
when I went.
It isn't. Part of the push for IP integration in the Disney parks was that these were timeless stories that would appeal to everyone, and so has that been successful? Do people enjoy the tackiness of Pixar Pier? Is Avengers Campus a popular place? Does shoving characters into Epcot allow Disney to not have to put forward meaningful investment into its future? I would say no, and does audiences lose
I should probably go visit Epcot at some point. It seems like all the really cool, showy, attractions are over there.
interest in these brands and franchises, the parks are only going to age. Only
The
accelerating
more I see,
problems that Disney leadership
look at this.
is
This looks
running out of
awesome.
space and trying to
I love
fix.
this.
What exactly do I mean by this?
Oh
Well,
my
let's take
goodness. Look at the reindeer. That thing is horrifying looking. It looks like it has murderous intent in its eyes. Look at it. It looks like a Yeti.
a look at what this has done to Epcot.
It's actually genuinely horrifying. Like I got a new respect for Tony Chopper from One Piece now. I can see how his monster form is actually genuinely intimidating and scary.
In one of my older videos, I took a detailed look at the many former
What's
attractions
inside that
defined
giant
the early
ball?
years of Epcot Center.
Is it empty? Is it hollow?
Over time, a narrative has risen
Is it a golf ball for giants?
around the park, asserting that its attractions that focused on the future were unsustainable, as technology quickly caught up and made the futurism theme of the park irrelevant. But is that actually the case? It's obvious to me that it isn't, and that the people who continue to parrot this message around have long forgotten what this park used to be. In that particular video, I explored these.
Hold on. Now, as someone who knows very little about the history of Epcot, wasn't the whole purpose of Epcot to be like a showcase of the potential of the future of the world? You know, like that was kind of the whole purpose. That's why they even like they were trying new futuristic ideas and designs. They were trying to innovate. Everything had to do with innovation. Like they even had a sandwich. Like they were the first people to they basically made the first hot pocket. They had like effectively a sandwich or even like a pizza that was like in the shape of an ice cream cone, so you could like eat it on the go. And like they made a big deal, hand sandwich, hand ice cream, hand pizza, and it was like a big thing. It didn't get super popular or anything like that, but that's kind of the wacky shenanigans that they would do, because like it was meant to be a place of like innovation, attempts at pushing boundaries and seeing what the future could potentially become. So yeah, that's from the little bit that I know. So I like the idea overall.
These attractions in depth and made it clear that the majority of them were focused on the history of a particular subject, with their futuristic predictions being vague and non-specific enough to not really date themselves.
What is that? Oh, it's a
Not trying to
plesiosaur.
sell you
Oh,
on
was
the
actually
idea of
genuinely
jetpacks and
disturbing.
flying cars, but instead concluded with a message about the importance of transportation and how bold new ideas would allow us to travel quicker and farther.
So it was a
into the
lot more
future.
historical than about the actual
What made these
future.
rides so
Okay.
great was not the relevance of their technology, but rather their details, atmosphere, and inspiring messages that made you feel like you were part of something bigger and more important than yourself. These were classics that resonated as strongly as attractions like Pirates, The Haunted Mansion,
Yeah, like stuff like that, like wacky gadgets and inventions
The
and
Great
stuff.
Movie Ride, etc.
You know, just like
would
ideas,
probably
just
be
wacky
seen as
ideas of
essential
what the future
classics
could
like Space
potentially
Jam
hold.
today if they were still around. So how did the outdated Epcot myth end up becoming so prevalent? Well, while I agree that Epcot probably needed more variety, as most of its attractions were dark rides, and thrills would have been welcome, the major catalyst for change was Michael Eisner, and his desire for more thrilling rides and relevant IP. While not all of this was bad, as I actually think that Ellen's Energy Adventure was better than the original Universe of Energy, I see a lot of failed projects like the overly intense but underwhelming Mission Space replacing Horizons, the pointless incorporation of Nemo into the Living Seas, and the destruction of Magic Journeys and Journey into Imagination in favor of Captain EO and later, Honey I Shrunk the Audience, with Journey into Imagination changing to fit
I haven't seen any of those.
into its theme of the Imagination Institute to connect it to the show. Ironically, what aged Epcot was a lot of new, underwhelming rides, a very 90s innovations, and inappropriate placement of intellectual property or star power that lost relevancy pretty quickly. Not to say that Michael Jackson is
Again, but that's kind of the point, though. It's because they're always looking like. I feel like they've always been like. Not they've always. Let me rephrase that. I feel like nowadays everyone is so hyper focused on the short term, on the little. What can I get right now? See, putting star power, especially in like a theme park or anything like that, it can have huge impacts. The best example, Disney as well, was putting Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Which, come on, the frickin' ride made that movie a thing, so of course, you know, a little bit of cross promotion there. Like it became huge on TikTok, on Instagram. You know, before TikTok was even a thing, it became huge. So it's like it can work. The difference is that it is all temporary, because just like any, you know, just like how Channing Tatum was the big Hollywood hunk, and then then it moved on to the next person, and then it was like you know what I mean? Like there's every couple. Then it was Vin Diesel, then it was Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and then it was like they switched that Hollywood hunk that everyone likes. They switch him off every couple years, you know. So it's kind of like it's fleeting, and it'll always be fleeting, and so you can definitely make it work. The problem is that when you rely on star power and stuff like that, you have to consistently keep swapping them out for the next top dog. It's that simple.
Is irrelevant today, or that you
And
can't
that's
enjoy the Honey, I Shrunk the
expensive.
Kids franchise, but I wouldn't say that these attractions would currently resonate with audiences in a way today that the original Journey into Imagination still would. I don't dislike Mission Space, but its intense novelty has not.
This looks awesome. Even if it's like a big old nothing sandwich of just like pure artistic looking stuff, this looks freaking sick. Like, come on, dude. This looks like you're inside of a freaking vault in Fallout.
Aged nearly as well as
That's
I anticipate
awesome!
that Horizons would have.
Sick.
So Epcot aged not because of its original
I
iteration,
love this. I love
but
all of this.
because it removed those iconic attractions in favor of stuff that was seen as more relevant to contemporary audiences, which ultimately revealed itself to be a short-sighted move. So with a broken Epcot, how do you fix it? With Ayoo and Chapek, their response was to double down on Disney IP, believing that it was a timeless fix so that they wouldn't have to touch the park for another decade, failing to realize that this was exactly the problem that led to it becoming a mess in the first place. I think that the original Epcot would have benefited from thrill rides, and I think that the original Test Track was actually one of Disney's best attractions ever created, but it would have made more sense to go with ideas like the Swiss Pavilion with a Matterhorn roller coaster, rather than something so alienating to many guests like Mission Space.
Look, I like space. So I feel like I have a bias. However, every time I go to Disneyland, that little area right next to Matterhorn, that little like it's like yodeling, the food, that little food that they sell right outside of it, like that little area, that tiny little minuscule section of sorry, what was it? Is it like
Attractions ever
what did he
created,
call it?
but it would have made
What
more
was the
sense to
theming?
go with ideas like the Swiss Pavilion with
Swiss, that Swiss theming, like it hits different. It hits different. I'll admit, it hits different. It really does. By the way, Matterhorn, why is the freaking Yeti so darn loud? That thing blew out my freaking eardrums,
the
dude.
Matterhorn roller coaster.
You don't have to be so loud.
Alienating to many guests like Mission Space. Has Ratatouille, Frozen, the Guardians of the Galaxy, or the soon-to-open Moana water trail really working to fix this park?
That one looks cool. I hope they do something really interesting.
Is this an exciting place to be with must-see attractions? Returning back to the potential for audiences to lose interest in certain brands, how long until these new attractions begin to date themselves in the same way that Honey, I Shrunk the Audience did? And how will people look back at Ayoo and Chapek as people who have damaged this park with a lot of pointless and
Oh, what is this?
expensive
What?
projects?
That's disturbing.
You cannot rely on your brands and franchises
What was that?
to carry what are otherwise uninteresting half-baked
Ugh.
experiences, especially
What
one
was I
that
just
the
looking
landscape
at?
for films actually appears to be losing interest in this.
I want to go back, but I also don't want to. I don't know. I don't know what that thing was. It was creepy though. I saw like a little mouse spin. So we're going back.
Will people look back at Ayoo and Chapek as people
Ugh.
who have damaged this
What are we looking at? What is this?
park with a lot of
Oh, it's the abominable snowman. I just realized what it was. Ugh, I thought this was the nose. I thought this was like one nostril, mouth, and like this was the body. I thought we were under the water, under the sea, and like this was a freaking tail or something. Or like, it's
pointless
disturbing
expensive
looking.
projects.
I didn't realize it was the abominable snowman. I didn't know these were eyes. I thought those were noses. You see what? Can you see the creature I had in my mind? It's disturbing looking.
You cannot rely on your brands and franchises to carry what are otherwise uninteresting.
I didn't have the
half-baked
Frozen
experiences,
imagery in my brain.
especially when the consumer landscape for films
Creepy.
actually
Ugh.
appears to be losing interest in this.
Seriously, they should make more horror attraction rides at Disney. Half the stuff on that Frozen ride is actually terrifying.
Am I saying that incorporating IP into theme parks is an inherently bad idea? Well, certainly not, because I think that they can work as a catalyst for a lot of really interesting concepts. I very much enjoy the many small dark rides located throughout Disneyland's fan.
That's what they're called, dark rides. Yes, I'm a huge dark ride fan. But but I also do like certain like high speed or like just certain fast roller coasters. My perfect example of like a roller coaster I think would be like something I could ride all day. The Incredicoaster over at Disneyland California Adventure. It has like just the right balance of showiness with roller coaster. I would prefer to have a little bit more show, but you know, for a roller coaster, I'd say it's probably one of my top favorite roller coasters. Just the coolness of it all, the showmanship of like the winding down, the countdown with is that his name, Flash? Yeah, Flash the kid. Friggin' love it.
Fantasyland based on their class.
Oh, and I'm sorry, but I can't stop and not get myself a freaking cookie every time I get in line.
Films.
I love it.
And the reason for that is that the land itself was purpose-built to showcase and celebrate these properties.
But dark rides are my jam.
Thematic sense. However, while some of these attractions follow scenes
I love the Alice in Alice in Wonderland one as well.
Films,
absolutely
others
fantastic.
Managed to move beyond those narratives and create something new.
Pinocchio in particular is freaking solid, and especially when you go to what is it? Imagination Land? No, Imagine. Ah, I forgot that one island where they get turned into donkeys. When you get to that section of the dark ride, it gets a little creepy. Like,
The original Snow White Scary Adventure focused on creating fear as its theme, and my favorite attraction there,
which is
Mr.
awesome.
Toad's Wild Ride.
Oh yeah, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. You literally get run over by a train and go to H.E. double hockey sticks. You literally go to H.E. double hockey sticks in the ride. Freaking awesome ride, dude. I love it.
It is hard.
And why? Because he drinks and drives.
Based on the film at all. Instead, taking the concept of an out-of-control Mr. Toad terrorizing the English countryside in his automobile and putting you right into the chaos.
Isn't it? Yeah, you literally stop by the bar and then by the pub, I should say, and then get run over by a train.
Example of IP implementation
because you're drunk driving.
Pandora at Animal Kingdom. I've spoken at
I have not gone to this either.
length in another video about how incredible this land is, and while it's not perfect, it very much does transcend the Avatar IP, and becomes its own distinct experience that stands without it. It fits into Animal Kingdom themes such as conservation, and is an intriguing, impressive land to explore independent of you having any context from the film franchise. Every element is placed with purpose to tell a story in a way that Galaxy's Edge is lacking, and I think that's why this land is so incredible. Yet,
that's exactly what I mean. Cave paintings, like little things that make the world all around you feel more alive than it should be. Even the little things matter, you know?
I think that conceptually, basing a land around Avatar and placing it in Animal Kingdom was a stupid idea. Bob Iger proposed this because he saw the box office numbers, but failed to realize that despite being the highest grossing movie of all time,
Avatar 2 was freaking mid as all get out, bro.
It still managed to have
super incredibly mid. I mean, the first one was mid, but it was like super like interestingly super cool mid, you know, like wow, new technology, new what's up, Play Monkey? Like it was like, you know, like something brand new. Second one was just mid, just flat out mid, nothing
a
like
cultural impact. Its sequel has not helped Pandora as a land. And according to the latest theme park numbers
is that a blue
from the
crab?
Themed
What is that?
Entertainment Association, it seems as if Animal Kingdom has reverted back to the lowest attended park at Walt Disney World. I think the reason for this is that despite people still really enjoying the land itself, and people still raving about Flight of Passage,
someday I'm gonna try to go to Disney World. Seems like it's huge, like compared to Disneyland.
Because it is a truly well-developed experience, the Avatar franchise is just not strong enough to bring people back to this park, especially when it's still so massively underbuilt, and Disney has let one of its better rides fall into disrepair, threatening to eventually replace it with Zootopia.
What is that? That looks awesome!
I think that really gets to another core problem though. Does a Zootopia ride in Moana area really make sense for a park like this? I think that while you'll see a lot of excitement from non-parks to another core problem though, does a Zootopia ride in Moana area really
make
sense for a park like this? I think
Moana totally makes sense. You can absolutely see that. Zootopia? Not really, like at all. Like, don't get me wrong, they're animals. They're animals. They are animals. You're not wrong. However, they're like anthropomorphic animals that like just live in a straight up city, like like it's a LA noir cop movie more than it is a nature like anything. You know what I mean? I think it would fit a lot better into like a just like a regular like the more modern day Disney
I think that while you'll
like world, you know, downtown Disney, so to speak.
see a lot of excitement from non-parks people and children, these ideas are generally off-putting to many because conceptually they're inherently nonsensical and rely on you saying, hey, that's a thing I'm familiar with, instead of putting meaningful effort into creating interesting rides and themed spaces. Again though, if consumers are changing their behavior at the theaters, then this might very well backfire on Disney. Going and seeing a movie is
Of
obviously
course it
expensive,
would. Of course it would.
especially when you're bringing
If the
young
movies
children
aren't
or your
successful,
entire
there's
family.
nothing
So this
nothing
is
to get
another
me to that
reason
park.
streaming has really taken off, because it's an easier and less expensive way of exposing said children to that content. A good example would be Encanto, where its box office was abysmal, but its streaming presence is excellent with what I assume are young children watching it on repeat.
Oh yeah, Encanto. I must have seen Encanto at least 15, 16 times, dude. At least. Kids would not stop playing that movie.
Now, granted, the film was released on the tail end of mask mandates, so I'm sure that played a part, but I still think that parents are opting for Disney Plus over
How's
actually
it going,
bringing
Flame Monkey?
children to
I think you
theaters.
muted yourself once again, my
When
dude.
consumers are opting
Double
for
check
Disney
your
Plus
audio.
to
I am
watch
totally
theatrical
talking.
films over actually going and seeing them in the theaters, though, well, I think you see the problem. With streaming potentially bringing casual moviegoers and young children away from theaters, then that also results in diminishing interest in Disney or Pixar branded films, which is exactly what has been happening. So when you create poorly conceptualized theme park attractions and cannot rely on your brands to draw people in, that
What's up, my dude?
leaves you with dated, irrelevant, and uninteresting theme parks that appeal to no one, like with what happened to Epcot. Disney IP certainly has its place.
Dude, that Spider-Man ride thing is giving me a headache. Oh, the double blurry vision.
But the important distinction is that it has to result in a fantastic experience that feels like a cool idea because it's cool, and not because it's brand synergy. While I am disappointed that California Adventure never got its land themed to classic car culture, Cars
I genuinely do love this entire area, though. It's freaking sick. And not only that, but the actual ride for cars, the race, it's freaking dope. I love that one. It's worth the wait every time. I'm doing good, my dude. How are you doing? Hope you're doing great.
Land is still an incredible addition because so much effort went into creating a detailed land that stands on its own, even if you were not familiar with this franchise. The town itself is full of interesting shops and dining, and its supplemental attractions are fun kinetic additions that add needed capacity. However, the land's major e-ticket, Radiator Springs Racers, is a well-paced, well-detailed
That ride is dope. I don't care. Like that, I'll go on it multiple times. 100%. I freaking love it.
atmospheric, and cleverly executed attraction that has been rare since the Eisner era. If California Adventure
Not only that, but it sort of semi forces a little bit of like friendly competition with the other I guess like passengers in the other ride. So it just adds a little bit of that little extra, you know, a little bit of extra where you look at the other team like, no, I'm gonna win. No, I'm gonna win. Even though you know damn well you're gonna tie, because why would the game ever pick a winner or something? I don't know. Or I think it's random or something, isn't it? I don't know. I can't remember. But it adds a little bit, you know?
we're not full of tons of misplaced
Thank you so much, my dude. I appreciate the support, dude. Thank you.
IP shoved into it, I would be willing to overlook that Cars Land is thematically inconsistent because of its Arizona location, because it's just so good and stands independent from the IP that it's based on. In fact, if it wasn't
Oh, and it has that little dark ride area too. It's freaking sick.
actually based on a film, it
Love
could
it.
conceivably work as a
Monkeys in the
California
chat.
expansion, which is what distinguishes it from other weird additions in the park like Monsters Inc., Pixar.
I like Monsters Inc. Don't you hate on it. And Midway Mania is also awesome. I mean, not the best, but awesome.
A little
The wait, that being said, the wait is not worth it for Midway Mania. I'll say that much. It's not worth it. It's awesome. It's not worth the
mermaid
wait.
adventures.
I'll go on Monsters
So,
Inc.
I am certainly not
Twice,
against the
rather.
idea of
You know?
Disney IP in its parks when it makes sense, but it actually has to reach a quality standard that I used to expect from the company, and not exist as half-baked brand synergy, which is pretty much everything that we're currently getting.
What sports I like? I'm a little bit into soccer and a little bit into
being
basketball, my
anything
dude.
other than a cheap addition to quickly add capacity and expand the park footprint of Hollywood studios. But this is exactly my problem with it. I like Toy Story Mania, but over time it has devolved into a C-ticket that does not justify its wait times, and Alien Swirling Saucers and Slinky Dog Dash are incredibly subpar additions along with the rest of this quickly slapped together land. Still, Toy Story as a brand is popular.
Oh, you're a
and
fan
Slinky
too?
Dog in
That's
particular
awesome, my
seems
dude.
to be one of Disney's largest marketing pushes.
I wish I was a lot more of a fan, but I'm absolutely more of like the casual watcher, the family event sports gathering watcher, you know?
For this park.
Though I don't go to the Super Bowl just for the ads. I mean, I go mainly for the ads, but not just for them.
While myself and others
I'll pick a
enjoy
team.
Toy Story
I'll
as a
place
franchise,
bets.
though, I think that our goodwill has
I got 20 almond cookies on team number
been
1.
extended for long enough. Toy Story 4 was really pushing it, but Bob Iger's plan for a Toy Story 5 is absolutely ridiculous, and I think that there is the very real chance that it too is likely to suffer from franchise fatigue. However, I'm of the opinion that even if early entries are good, oversaturation of any particular franchise has the very real chance of souring you on those original films, and a Toy Story 5 could have the same effect that Disney Star Wars has had on diluting the interest and influence of the George Lucas films. So, if consumers lose interest in Toy Story because they've been beaten over the head with it, does Toy Story Land stand on its own?
No.
Well, no, the attractions
Yeah,
are
for the
underwhelming, and IP becomes
for the most part, no. I feel like even Bug's Life kind of had the whole attraction of like, even if you didn't watch the movie, it's easy to understand. Like, look, the concept is you are the size of a bug in a land that's like, you know, just ginormous. It's freaking dope. There's like Chinese food takeout boxes as like a ride. It's freaking dope. I loved it. Even these freaking like lights here were used there. It's freaking dope. Fallen Angel, I checked my new YouTube video. You have 1 view on it. I'm glad to hear it, my dude. You're gonna get a second one after we're done reacting to this. And then Flame Monkey saying, how many subs do we have? We have 208 now on YouTube, my dude. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much. We're about to get to 210. Dude, that's freaking awesome. Now I can actually quantify my subscription count according to my goal, which has always been to get to 1,000. So I can justify myself because for those who don't know, I used to be a YouTube partner and then they took it away. So I have $7 that YouTube owes me that they refuse to pay until I've made at least $100 on YouTube. It took me like 2 years to make those $7. So I'm gonna get to 1,000 and get my $7. Gosh darn it! I don't care how long it takes. I earned them back in 2015. I'm coming for my $7, YouTube. All right. Anyway, so yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting me on YouTube. Please subscribe, help me get to 1,000. We're at 209, and also please follow me on Twitch, dudes. We're at 4. We're at 41 follows on Twitch. We need 50 and like 5 people talking at the same time, I think, in order to get affiliate. And I'm so close, my dude. We can get 5 people chatting at the same time. That's not a problem. I'll advertise and do like a big freaking promotion or something. The thing is, I need to get to 50 follows. So please, please, please follow me on Twitch. Thank you so much for the support, my dudes.
dated, just like the many films and attractions that the park once offered before it was transformed. Pivoting off of this to Universal, the advantage that I think they have is that their new attractions
I really want to go check out Super Mario Land.
are much more akin to stuff like Pandora
Look at
and
it!
Cars Land. I'm of the opinion that you don't have to be familiar with the Harry Potter franchise to appreciate Hogsmeade.
Of course not, because someone just needs to tell you wizards, and you kind of get it, you know?
Diagon
Wizard
Alley,
school.
or their respective
Dragon. You know, you don't need to understand that.
attractions. In fact, I would even say that Escape from Gringotts is rather
Why YouTube steals money from YouTube? They didn't steal the money. It's not that. It's less that, and it's more like it's not really worth YouTube's time or Google's time to write me a check for $7. It's I get it. It's like really not worth their time. So a part of the policy or the contract that you write is that they will not cut you a check unless it's a minimum of $100. So even once I get to partnership, I still actually have to, work for for money. So we'll see. But it's fine. I'm just what that's my personal goal. I want my money back, YouTube. I'm like a mafia monkey. Like, where's my money at, huh, YouTube? Don't make me go full Stewie on Brian on you.
Mediocre, but it's elevated because it exists within the context of Diagon Alley, which is fantastic in terms of atmosphere, intrigue, and exploration. Having experienced Super Nintendo World in Hollywood, I think the same very much applies there as well, even if you're not
Haven't gone yet. I'm definitely gonna check it out. I'm trying to earn up some money to see if I can like make a trip out of it.
familiar with the Mario franchise, and it seems as if all the lands in Epic Universe are shooting for this level of ambition too, judging from the more credible rumors out there. While Universal has had a pretty rough history of too many poor attractions and oversaturating its parks with what essentially amount to simulators, I have continued to argue that they have really worked to turn things around. Hagrid's, which premiered in 2019, is arguably the most popular attraction in Florida, and is just so strong in so many different aspects, ranging from the quality of its theming, to its layout, to the clever use of track elements in thematically satisfying ways. The
What's that,
strength of its
Spider?
attraction design
I know which
outshines
ride
the
I'm not
IP
gonna
it's
get on.
based
Screw that.
Which I think is the
Nah,
trend
nah,
with a
nah,
lot of
nah,
these
nah,
newer
nah.
Universal editions.
Oh, three-headed bear!
You don't
Or was
need
that
to
the
care
dog?
about
That was a
perhaps
doggo,
seeing
wasn't
the
it?
Jason
That was the
Bourne
three-headed
franchise
doggo.
to appreciate this spectacular stunt show. And as someone who does not care at all about Jurassic World, I am very much a fan of their new Jurassic World rides. The Velocicoaster is an excellent roller coaster first, and the theming, while it is admittedly minimal, is still icing on an already excellent cake. The Jurassic World attraction adds new thrills and animatronics to the former Jurassic Park
Where is this? Is this the current Jurassic
ride in
park?
Hollywood,
Haven't gotten to see it since the redesign.
and while many people, myself included, prefer Jurassic Park as a film, I personally prefer this ride because it keeps the spirit of the original intact, but refreshes it in meaningful ways, regardless of
cool.
the strength of its attached IP.
I love the little animatronic things like this. Like the set pieces just, oh, they're everything to me.
The Jurassic World attraction in Beijing is incredibly innovative and far more impressive than it needs to
Whoa!
be, and I know that it has essentially become a meme at this point, but I still can't get over how good The Secret Life of Pets is in Hollywood. I would argue that it's one of the cleverest, well-designed dark rides in decades.
Haven't been to this one either. Honestly, it's been a minute since I've been to Universal Studios. Just flat out because there wasn't a whole lot to do the last time I went. Last time I went was just after they'd removed the Back to the Future ride, and that really killed that. That really killed that for me. Really killed the whole theme park for me. I loved that ride so much.
And even though the film it's based on
You've already
is a
seen it on
tiny little
YouTube?
kid-
I haven't seen it on YouTube yet. I used to always watch them on YouTube, but it's kind of like, I don't know. There's a part. It's like if it's one in like I don't know Paris or Japan or Disney World, yeah, I'll probably just watch it on YouTube. But if it's like right here, I might go there someday. Maybe I don't want to get it spoiled, you know. but you know.
Hey, the
But I'll watch
attraction
one
design
that's
far
like in
outshines it.
Disney World or something that
The only real
I
negative
really
have about
probably
recent
never gonna
editions
go
is
see.
VillainCon, but even then, I think it's a matter of failing to execute its gameplay well, and not the actual
they made a freaking Minions ride.
ride concept, which is at least interesting on paper. When I think about Epic Universe, I already know that Super Nintendo World will resonate well with people, and when I think of Rumored Lands, even they sound strong independent of the IP that they're based on.
The thing about Super Mario Land here is that it's incredibly stylized. Whether you are familiar with Mario, and let's be honest, who's not? Whether you're familiar with Mario or not, it's incredibly stylized.
One of these rumors is of course centered around Universal Monsters, and my assumption is that a land based around these classic franchises will likely try a new interpretation, resulting in something that feels more original and specifically tailored to a theme park land, not dissimilar to the various Halloween Horror Nights houses that have taken a lot of creative liberty with this franchise.
Can I admit to everyone here, I know that Universal tried to make the the Dark Universe, with like the new Mummy lady and the new Invisible Man with like the technology invisibility, the suit, and I guess he's gone, so now it's the lady instead, or the girlfriend that was getting like. So is she a monster now, or I don't get? You get what I'm saying? Like they sort of took all the classics and just like just like modernized them, which is like that's fine if you're gonna modernize them, but like can you at least keep the spooky part of it? Like why you gotta make it like this like weird? Like now the Invisible Man was always a weird like pervy freak, you know, but at least there was like a mystical like wow he's invisible because of reasons. Now it's like well he's in jail, but the girlfriend that he was stalking with his invisibility suit, she has the suit, and who knows what she's gonna do with it? Like, but I mean, she wasn't like she didn't have any like weird, creepy, murderous tendencies or anything throughout the movie. So like, it's why do I care if she has an invisibility suit? What does that got to do with me? It's not scary, you know. So I don't know.
Guys.
I'm not a fan of the new Dark Universe that they were trying, emphasis on trying to make happen.
Another strong rumor is that the Wizarding World will
I heard that they were going to do a Jekyll and Hyde movie
based on the streets of Paris from the Fantastic
but
Beasts
I'm assuming I believe they canceled all the plans, right? They were going to make a Jekyll and Hyde, a Wolfman, and a Frankenstein movie, specifically like called Frankenstein's Monster or something like that. To like clarify that whole misconception, but no, did not work out. I was excited for the Heckle and Hyde, Heckle Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde, for goodness sake, because he came out in the Mummy movie. If y'all saw that one, he came out. What was the guy's name? The chubbier guy. he was Jekyll and Hyde.
Well, I know that those films have done poorly at the box office.
Flame Monkey says he really loves Frank Monkey. Frank, whoever you are, you got a big fan here.
The idea of walking around the streets of Paris.
Hey, Mr. Frank Monkey. Frank Monkey, you got a big fan here. Get down to my chat. Your fans are here to speak with you.
Because the idea seems interesting, independent of the IP. If we go.
Thank you very much, Friend Monkey. Oh, I see.
Back to Toy Story Land.
You also have a friend who is a monkey. Apparently, there's a monkey friend here who you also love very much. I'm glad that you love all these other monkeys, but apparently I had no love for me. That's fine. That's cool.
They removed the Toy Story.
Never heard of that movie before. The Mummy one or the freaking Invisibility one? I forgot. Was it The Invisible Man? Was that what it was called? I don't remember. It was bad. It was bad. There's a good reason you never heard of it, and honestly, it belongs in the garbage where it should have stayed. How's it going, my dude? Welcome.
IP, what's left? Nothing really other than unshaded walkways and an underwhelming attraction lineup. If you removed familiarity with a Frozen franchise from Frozen Ever After, is this a ride that's still well designed?
The Mummy movie? That was the one with, Mission Impossible, dude. I actually haven't seen a single Mission Impossible. I know, everyone loves them. I've never seen it. Flint Monkey, you're just messing with me now. This is actually starting to hurt my feelings here. So much love for monkeys and none of it's coming to me. Alright, what in the nature are you watching? Oh, we're watching, like, just, I don't know, some freaking dude named Poseidon Entertainment made a video about, like, how, Disney's, like, their brand fatigue is actually starting to, like, not only affect their movies and TV shows, but actually starting to seep into the parks at this point. It's an interesting little video. I like it. It's cool.
And interesting to experience.
Gives me an excuse to talk about Disney.
Probably not. If you removed the Guardians of the Galaxy from Cosmic Rewind, I feel that very little would change because it's actually a pretty solid version of a Space Mountain, which I think attests to how pointless the incorporation of the IP.
Yeah, but it's also super cool to see an Eternal. Like, you know, just on the big screen, like a freaking giant Eternal. Look at him! He's freaking sick!
He is there. The fundamental difference between recent Universal attractions and Disney is that Universal attractions are interesting regardless of the strength or implementation of their IP, whereas Disney builds mostly weak attractions that rely on IP as a crutch due to a lack of interesting design. If audiences...
Bro, it's like little things like that that made me wonder, like, can you imagine in 2075 after the war with certain countries that are currently going insane with power, isn't it gonna be weird where somebody post-apocalypse is gonna run into this frickin' thing at some point somewhere in the world?
Of their IP.
Just this, hanging out, just there, being like that. They're just gonna, you know, they don't know about the world from before the Great War, but but they're gonna run into this frickin' monstrosity out there somewhere.
Whereas Disney builds mostly weak attractions that rely on IP as a crutch.
Have a heart attack. Zombies aren't gonna get them. It's gonna be a friggin' heart attack from the animatronics.
If audiences lose interest in franchise films, or if Disney damages their brands, no matter how good the originals were, well,
yeah,
these attractions are more interesting.
Thrust your hand at the screen. What's with the long pause? It's always super awkward.
If you've watched through to this point in the video, then you've probably recognized that this is one of my more messier scripts. But the overall point of this video is to recognize that Disney just does not build great attractions anymore.
I love this ride. Okay, I know what he's saying. I know what he's saying. I agree, but also the ride he's currently showing on screen is awesome, and I want a cookie now. And then they also have the version where you get the cookie, but they put ice cream on it. It's got ice cream on the cookie.
And relies far too
Dude,
heavily
they put
on
the
their IP
cookie at the
integration
bottom, and they
to
put the
cover up
ice
for
cream
their
on
lack
top of it, and then you
H.E.R.
can eat them both, and it's like warm and
J-Pack
cold
have
at the
embraced the
same
part-
time.
strategy that relies on people coming and embracing their favorite franchises in an
Make my
extremely
day, but I'm
superficial
glad to
way,
hear, my dude. Thank you
treating
so
these
much.
attractions as vessels of brand synergy and completely
That just
discarding
makes me
any
happy.
meaningful park messages or thematic cohesion. If a symbol of a popular
Ratatouille.
franchise can be slapped onto a generic attraction or land like a
Dude, I forgot about Buff Mouse. Buff Rat. There we go.
and
They're not mice. This ain't no Mickey.
completely discarding any
These are
meaningful
rats.
park
These
messages
are rat. These are rats.
or thematic cohesion.
Look at Buff Rat.
If a symbol of a popular
Tenderizing
franchise can
that
be slapped
beef.
onto a generic attraction or land like Avengers
Did you hear about Disney is going to remove Mickey Mouse? Are they actually?
Campus, then currently
I doubt it. I feel like that's like the last thing they do. Like, is it like this?
Leadership
Like,
will
is it
absolutely-
specifically Mickey Mouse the reason why our like not copyright? What's the term? The rules for like how long you have to wait until you're able to use things for like Creative Commons. Why do I keep forgetting the freaking term? Public use, Creative Commons. All these terms are correct, yet not the one I'm thinking of. Public domain? Yeah, that's the reason why we have such extensive public domain laws in the United States, because Disney keeps giving a bunch of politicians money to keep extending them. Honestly.
do it because
They can sue you. It's been way past the typical limit for like you tell me, why is it that we can make a Winnie the Pooh movie, but we can't make a nobody can make a Mickey Mouse movie? You know, they made that scary Winnie the Pooh movie. Like they could do that because it's I just said it. I just freaking said the word and I've already forgotten it. Creative Commons. Nope. Hub. Go back and watch the word I said. Now, public domain. There we go. Public domain. Now it's public domain. Winnie the Pooh's public domain, so you can make a horror movie about it, but you can't do it about Mickey Mouse. It's because Winnie the Pooh pissed off China, and they can't really do anything with that now. That's why. So they weren't gonna keep paying politicians to keep extending the public domain rights on that one.
obsessive realm of Disney branding beyond just
Once they
basic
pissed off
marketing.
China, it was all over for Winnie.
People may be
Poor
disillusioned
Winnie.
with Jurassic World,
Poor
but
Pooh Bear.
marketing a themed attraction like this still promises an exciting dinosaur-themed adventure. Yet, who exactly was Pixar Pier intended to appeal to? Are people clamoring for a Moana water trail or a half-baked San Francisco?
I'll be honest with you. Until you told me about this ride, I completely forgot about Moana. San Fran Tokyo, though. I'll be honest with you. If there was something that you could have themed, San Fran Tokyo would not have been a bad idea. It could have literally just been like a little Tokyo inside of Disneyland. But with you had the excuse of using Big Hero 6 as the theming, you know?
The decisions are often bizarre and incorporate IP because of some
And you can do even this factory ride we're looking at right now could have fit inside of San Fran Tokyo because it's just a city. There's gonna be factories. In fact, in Big Hero 6, they have a battle in a factory too. It just makes all the sense in the world. Like you could have done a lot with that. They gotta hire me. Where's my paycheck at? That's a $1 billion idea right there. Mickey Mouse is the very first Disney character ever made, and Disney can't be Disney without Mickey Mouse. That is correct.
out of control and nonsensical
Besides, he's not Disney, but of course, what's the rabbit? Oswald? But he's technically not Disney. Now he is because they purchased him, but he was not Disney.
mandate, and while Universal obviously embraces IP as well, it always feels like there's a purpose behind it, like experiencing the Mushroom Kingdom in a real physical space, or creating
I didn't know that was in there. That's cute.
an impressive, technologically advanced stunt show using Jason Bourne as an appropriate vessel. These attractions also stand on their own as well-developed and interesting experiences,
Wiener Kingdom.
regardless of whether you're familiar with the
Yeah, you don't need to watch the movie for this. Everyone has a doggo
IP or not.
or some kind of pet.
And while liking that property certainly helps, their existence is still justified. Yet, when I walk through Avengers Campus, it superficially attempts to appeal to
Okay, but let's be honest. The Spider-Man getting flung through the air thing is still the best part of that. Like, I've seen so many videos and compilations on YouTube.
Marvel fans,
Why does this message send but not my other one? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Streamlabs is a bit weird.
which is all that it really has going for it. At a time when the Marvel Cinematic Universe is waning,
I'm using Streamlabs OBS to like do it all, and I've been debating using other software just to try it out. I might go to regular OBS, but I still have like Streamlabs like not as a partner really, but I do use the service for like my donations and stuff. So it'd be an interesting one. I'll try out new stuff though. I've been messing around with a whole lot of software, not only for that, but even for my avatar here.
at the box office, though, Disney may very
Specifically
well be
for the
with
chat
an
problems,
entire
too.
land that's appealing to absolutely no one. It happened to Epcot, and it can happen here. It can happen to Galaxy's Edge. It can happen to any of these rides or lands unless you design them to exist as fun and creatively engaging spaces independent of the IP that they're based around. What happens when your target demographic of brand loyalists lose interest at the box office, or worse, begin showing interest in brands like Nintendo and start going to Universal?
Dude, I gotta go to freaking Mario World, dude!
This slate of costly yet meaningless park investment is something that I think will come back to bite Disney in a very expensive way. And while we have yet to understand how a shift in moviegoer tastes will play out, I do predict that the current status quo is something that Disney is not equipped to handle. Instead, they've chosen to double down on the strategy as if the ship wasn't sinking at their feet, and I'm predicting that this oversaturation...
Of course they have, because as far as they're concerned, it's been working for the last couple, however many years. Why change it, They think they're geniuses because they've pretty much stood at the top and just sort of reaped the money. But the truth is, they haven't really done much besides just sort of collect the checks, have they? Again, same reason like the Star Wars situation and all that. It's a bunch of people who are purchasing like IPs and stuff, but they never actually built the IP. They don't know how to build an IP or how to make an IP famous and popular and like super awesome. They'll never be able to because all they've done is just buy it. EA has like, why do you think EA purchases so many studios and shuts them down? It's because, yeah, they wanted Dead Space. Dead Space, super popular. Great. Visceral Games, amazing studio. EA said, hey, that's awesome. You do an amazing job. Here's a bunch of money. You're ours now. Then EA said, all right, now we're going to do things our way. And it's like, are you surprised that like Dead Space 3 was garbage? It's like, it was a microtransaction nightmare. Why? Because at the end of the day, just because they bought it doesn't change the fact that it's freaking EA. They still don't know how to make a good game. Like, what are you gonna do? Did you know Mickey Mouse used to be a rabbit? Yeah, he didn't used to be a rabbit. It was Oswald. Originally, it was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. But what was it? Walt Disney, he did not own the rights to Oswald. The newspaper did. And so he said, screw you, I'm gonna make my own newspaper character with blackjack and hookers. Like Futurama. Anyway, so he left and did his own thing. And then, yeah. But now, Disney actually purchased the rights to Oswald back. Full circle, dude. Pretty sick.
Resulting brand.
So Disney does officially own Oswald now. And all they did was use him for the video games on the Nintendo Wii.
Fatigue will backfire.
What was it? Mickey and the Magic Toothbrush? No, not Toothbrush. Mickey and the Magic Brush, something like that, right? The ink
On
blot.
the expensive yet cheap feeling.
It's the one with the paintbrush
they made to their parks.
Mickey and the Magic Toothbrush. Mickey's a dentist now. Take care of your pearly whites.
If you made it here to the very end of the video and haven't left a like, that's a really good way of helping videos like these reach a wider audience. As always, if you have not yet subscribed and hit the bell icon,
Dude, the Slinky as a roller coaster, like, vehicle, genius move.
You can do so now so as to be alerted to new videos as they release.
Love it. Great video, my dude. Great video. Dude, please, go and subscribe and like Poseidon Entertainment's video. He's only got 10k likes. That is severely low for how good of a video this was. He needs more. Alright, let me refresh the page, actually. Is this still from last time? Maybe he has more? No? Wrong one. Go back. Here we go. Yeah, he needs more. What are you doing? What are we doing, people? 10k? That needs to be in the triple digits. Alright. Ayoo, be sure to join the crew. Please like, follow, and subscribe. And hey, if you like that video, you should check out this stuff.